You're watching Open Agenda. Here's our host, Joe White.
Welcome to this special edition of Open Agenda. So we've just received a press release from the executive's office stating that she has signed a MOU with the sheriff of Wicomico County for the Level 3 ICE enforcement. In the studio with me is Dr. Joe Venosa from Salisbury. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this comes as a surprise because just 2 days ago we heard the sheriff discuss publicly that he does not have the manpower to do this yet. And at the county council meeting on Tuesday, September 2nd, this was not as a work session. This was not up for discussion except in public comments.
Correct. It's very interesting, peculiar, and from my perspective, alarming that this happened. This is a clear escalation. The question is, why was the escalation done? As you've said, Sheriff Mike Lewis on Tuesday, I believe, Tuesday evening, and I guess Monday morning if you were watching the news, said publicly that he did not even have the manpower to fulfill most of the enforcement mechanisms that such an agreement would entail, and that they were still weeks away anyway from sort of concretizing plans. Now keep in mind, the sheriff's office has also been unable to fulfill the SRO needs that our schools have. And why that's important.
Or the school resource officers.
The school resource officers. And why I bring that up is because yesterday, September 3rd, right, there was an incident at Parkside where an 18-year-old brought a loaded handgun to school. So my point is, we clearly have a law enforcement shortage, which is a big problem.
Yeah.
We clearly have other resource issues. And the executive seemingly unilaterally issues this announcement.
Now, and we have not heard since the press release come out from the sheriff.
No.
We have no press release from the sheriff. There's been no news coverage from the sheriff's perspective.
Correct.
But just as recently as Wednesday evening, President of the Council, John Cannon, was on there stating that there is a lot of support for Level 1,
Correct.
which is the jail and enforcement mode, which
Right.
basically means, and we covered this on our show earlier in the week, that if an illegal immigrant is captured who has a warrant, that they will hold them in our detention center.
Right.
Pending their processing for their crime.
Right.
Not the crime, not of illegal immigration.
Right.
Now we're going to go out and find these
We're going to
folks.
take officers out of the community effectively, or at least out of local issues, and making them now, it would seem, agents or extensions of ICE, and we're going to be paying for it as well, is my understanding.
And we talked about that in our show. We
Correct.
don't understand the funding model behind
Yeah.
this. And some counties, as Trish Melvin pointed out, have already opted back out after realizing how much it costs.
And it's interesting that the executive failed to at least put that caveat of the funding apparatus in her announcement.
Yeah. Now, and part of what you just said is a little conjecture,
Mm-hmm.
only because you don't know, and you don't know because there's not been a public work session.
Nope.
There's not been any substantial comment from the county council. We have asked the entire council for their feedback, their comment. Their collective response has been this ball is not in their court.
Right.
That this is really between the executive and the sheriff to bring to them for an MOU that would be above 365 days.
That would be the ideal from the council's perspective. And again, I think you and I have a pretty big disagreement about the nature of the 287G program, but I think we both agree that if it is going to happen, it should involve all branches of government.
Yeah, listen, in full disclosure, I'm comfortable with Level 1,
Sure.
the jail and enforcement mode. I do believe there's lots of folks who are. But at the same time, I think that the folks who are against this, and we saw that at the county council meeting and during public comments on Tuesday, that there were more folks who came there to just basically say they're not in favor of any of this. Now,
Right.
I wasn't going to be there to argue with them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that discourse should happen in a public forum.
It should, and I think even most of those folks, even if and again, from my own perspective, I don't think I quite agree with all of some of the things that they said. But I think they would agree with us in that if it is going to happen, it should be above board in that the county council has a role in that process.
So what do you think is going to happen if we find out this MOU is actually signed for above a year? Now, I say that. I know that the executive is not supposed to sign MOUs for more than a year, but she has not followed the rules consistently in almost 3 years in office.
Yeah.
So we can't assume that she's even following the rules.
No.
But who's accountable to us? Is it the sheriff? Is it the council? Is it the executive?
Well, it's all three, realistically, but the bulk of this particular issue lies on the executive because it's her office that is initiating it. Now, obviously, I would argue that the sheriff's office has a major role in this in terms of both outreach and process because they are the ones who are going to be doing the work, so to speak. But in my opinion, as much as I tend to blame the executive for a lot that has gone wrong in this county with, I think, a lot of documentation that we've shown, this is something that the council has to either speak up on or get some awareness of. I have to say I'm disappointed in a few council members who might say certain things broadly about immigration, but then don't sort of take the initiative of their local office in actually, being proactive to figure out what's going on. I mean, I can tell you right now that there are certain council members sitting on the county council at this moment who found out after we did.
Yeah.
Citizens.
Yeah, that was definitely the case this morning. And in all transparency, this press release was simultaneously broadcast on Eastern Shore Undercover,
Right.
who also has an MOU that at times has not been legal and valid.
Yep.
Even Sheriff Lewis fought that against the encrypted radios, and
Yeah.
now we're faced with another MOU without public engagement.
And this is, I would argue, much more impactful because now we're going to be dealing with, theoretically, assuming all this is true, the fact that we have a major escalation of local police role in immigration enforcement happening without any public oversight.
Okay.
That's not, I don't care whether you're liberal, conservative, moderate, whatever. When there is not public oversight and transparency over the process, it doesn't end well for anyone.
I'm a conservative. You're much more on the liberal side. You're worried about the social issues. I'm worried about the cost.
I am worried about the cost too.
But I'm saying this is not about political party.
Nope.
This is not about whether or not you think illegal immigration should be enforced or not.
Nope.
You and I don't sit on the same side there. But at the end of the day, lots of citizens showed up Tuesday night to voice their concern.
Yep.
Their government has ignored them, and
Yes.
and for that, I think that there should be an answer to that.
Couldn't agree more.
So let's follow up with this next week.
Certainly.
All right. We're going to now play all of the public comments from Tuesday night, including the ones that would be for this, against it, or neutral, so that you have a chance to watch exactly what happened Tuesday night. Thanks for watching this episode of Open Agenda. We'll be back next week.
Thank you very much. At this time, we open the floor for public comments. We'd like to entertain that if you have any comments you'd like to make, come to the podium. Please state your name, your county of residence, and your concerns. I would ask you to make sure you keep in mind there's the 3-minute limitation, and if you have some who have already made comments in reference to what you choose to talk about, as brief as possible so that we can be able to get out at a good time for everybody. Thank you.
Good evening, Joe Venosa, Salisbury. Before we begin, there's a few teachers in the room, and today is the first day back for most of the students. So after a whole day with kids, they decided to come here to be with you. So get them coffee, Dunkin' Donuts, maybe something stronger, whatever. But first, okay, good, the bad, and the ugly. The good. I first want to just give a shout out to Councilman Merritt and Operation We Care. My son and I were kindly invited to the the Maryland State Police Aviation Station the other day to see a demonstration. And apart from it being a really cool thing for my son to see a helicopter, I actually learned quite a bit about the funding mechanism that keeps that vital service to our rural communities functioning. I don't think the public knows just how important that state police medevac helicopter is. It is amazing in terms of what it does, and it's, to my knowledge, according to the trooper who and I talked, said that it was entirely funded through state DMV fees. So it's a free at the point of use service that we desperately need. So as we talk about budget issues, it's good to keep that in mind because that's always in danger of being cut. So just FYI. Okay. A lot of issues are happening. I believe some people here are going to talk more in depth about the issue of ICE cooperation and the 287G program. I just want to bring to people's attention one important part of that aspect is that it could very well be a situation in which the council actually may have no role in that because as it stands, the county executive still has quite extensive power to sign an MOU with the sheriff's office to bypass the council and engage in any agreement. Now, I am personally against the 287G program in the sense of I don't believe we should engage in it, not only for moral reasons but for fiscal reasons, because as I found out today, when we engage in that program, that puts us on the hook as local taxpayers to reimburse the feds. It's not the other way around. All the money that is going to be required for officers to be pulled off the road to go to training in other places, that comes out of us, not from the federal government. That's my understanding. So from a fiscal perspective, we actually stand to lose quite a bit of money if that were to happen. However, if it does happen, and the council does perhaps sort of see that coming, I would hope that the executive would actually include the council in any legislation, in any agreement. That way, at least citizens can come like this and voice their concerns, because the council is the only forum in our county to address these issues. Real quick, I apologize. It's my understanding also that as of today, County Executive Giordano has signed a rental agreement with Nick Simpson, who is currently in litigation against us, the city of Salisbury, at Lot 10. So the developer who is suing the city is now getting money from us at the county to have county employees park. Now, I don't know if you're aware of that, but that was made relevant to me earlier today if you read the district court filings. So once again, there is a lack of accountability and transparency from the executive office, and citizens cannot go to that office. So that's happening right now with your tax money. Thank you.
Thank you.
I did email you all a copy, but just gave you your own print. You could save your paper. I'm contributing to the county budget, bottom line. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. My name is Monica Brooks, and I am president of Wacomico County NAACP. While I do have a couple things to talk about, I'm going to do one, and we are going to discuss from our organization another. But so I'm going to be talking specifically about this liquor licensing situation that's coming up in open session. As NAACP Wacomico County, we must make clear our responsibility to the communities we serve. Somehow, despite support, minimal support from the community, this topic keeps rearing its ugly head of intentions. As we have stated before, we will not support greater expansion of liquor licensings throughout this county. We will also not support removing the petition of support requirement for property owners where the premises to be licensed are located. First, the expansion of liquor licenses will only further harm in the very communities that are already most vulnerable across this country, and including here in Wacomico County. Black and brown communities are disproportionately impacted by alcohol outlet density. The effects are well documented. Increased liquor access is strongly linked to higher rates of violence, crime, disorderly conduct in neighborhoods. Public health studies have shown liquor stores in certain neighborhoods correlate to higher rates of alcohol-related disease, addiction, premature births. And families already struggling with poverty and limited resources are often the ones forced to live closest to areas saturated with alcohol facilities. And let's remember that 65% of our kids here in Wacomico County, our school-age kids, are living in poverty. We cannot ignore that these harms are concentrated in communities of color. What may appear as simple business expansion translates to increased funerals, broken homes, and cycles of trauma. Second, it is deeply concerning, actually absurd, to remove the requirement that property owners and surrounding neighborhoods have little voice to petition support in regards to what happens around them. Eliminating their voice strips away a critical safeguard of community accountability. Removing this requirement silences residents, particularly in marginalized community who already struggle to be heard in policy decisions. Your decisions bear confusion as you, and this is not just you, as you just released funding, and this was for me saying to the county executive, you just released funding to help students thrive, and now you want to tear down the communities in which they live. So for these reasons, we urge and encourage the reject both of the expansion of the liquor licensing and the removal of this petition of support requirement. Our communities deserve policies that uplift health, safety, and stability, not ones that further exploit them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
Joe Schiaffino, Salisbury. I just want to touch what Mr. Venosa touched on, the rumor about this 287G that Wycomico County is considering participation in. When I heard about the rumor, I did a little research, and I discovered that on the congressional website it says, to participate in the program, LEAs must contact their local ICE enforcement and removal office and apply. So they can't just come in and say, you're going to do this. Immigration, I can't do justice to the immigration issue in 3 minutes. If ICE comes here with a valid arrest warrant for a criminal, it shouldn't be here. By all means, we should cooperate. But any other issue to do with their mission is their job. And again, I didn't know about the cost to the county that Mr. Venosa identified. That would be another reason to not participate. And what I would lastly say on behalf of the immigrants who are being vilified, I don't think anybody in this room would want to leave their home where they grew up for any light reason. But for decades, the federal government of the United States has engaged in regime change in a lot of these countries that have destroyed economies, supported dictators and strongmen that have ruined these societies. These are desperate people that are coming here. And again, if I was in their position, I would be doing the same thing. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Samuel Henry. I'm the first vice president of the Wycomico County branch of the NAACP. I am here on behalf of the NAACP. Our organization has always stood in solidarity with immigrant communities because immigrant rights are civil rights and civil rights are human rights. The 287G program is not simply about immigration enforcement. It is about racial profiling. While supporters may argue that it only affects people who are arrested, we know the reality. Black and brown people are disproportionately stopped, detained, and arrested, often not for legitimate reasons, but because of bias in policing. That means this program will magnify existing inequalities and harm our communities. We also have a moral responsibility. Protecting our immigrant neighbors is not only right, it strengthens all of us. As Fannie Lou Hamer said, nobody's free until everybody's free. And let us be clear, law enforcement power is never neutral. We see even today how the President of the United States is deploying the National Guard in Washington, D.C., using the machinery of law enforcement as a weapon. 287G comes from that same playbook, putting political fear above community trust. That is why we must ask hard questions. Has the sheriff's office earned the public's confidence? Can we truly say our detention center upholds dignity and justice? Until we can answer yes, giving this agency greater power over immigration is not only reckless, it is dangerous. The NAACP urges this council to reject 287G, choose unity over division, choose fairness over fear, because when justice is denied to any one of us, the freedom of all of us is at risk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Donna Haddock, and I would like to address the immigration that's going here in Wycomico County. If you guys allow our sheriff's department to support ICE, I firsthand saw my dear friend that's been here for 37 years get drug out of his vehicle, assaulted, flown out in the middle of the night to Texas to stand in front of a judge and have that judge ask why that man was standing in front of him because he was in the system, get his green card. $10,000 later for this man to give back. 3 weeks later, meanwhile, his wife, his 4 American-born children, and his daughter that is white in color that was born in the United States, he was allowed to adopt here in the state of Maryland. And this man has to go to a hearing in October to decide whether or not he can continue to keep his daughter. Because if he gets deported, the American child that got adopted by this man may be forced to stay here in the United States to only be put up for adoption again. We need to stop this. These men are getting detained. Their women are afraid to go to food pantries because ICE is standing behind the food pantry signs. Their kids are starving and eating beans and rice because we are detaining their husbands, the one household person that works and pays the bills. I have pictures of ICE standing behind the food pantry line because I followed them after I watched them over and over and over snatch innocent people that have never had a criminal anything, not a speeding ticket. I've got every folder of immigrants that have come to me that have paid their taxes here in the United States of America. And the funny thing is, when we stood here this morning or this afternoon and we did the Lord's Prayer, I'm pretty sure it said, "Our nation under God." We cannot continue to do this to our citizens that are putting back into our community, or we are all going to have nothing when it's over.
Good afternoon. My name is Kinson Raymond, and I work for a local nonprofit called WOLC Immigration Services. We're a nonprofit that legally assists immigrants in the field of immigration. So I am actually an immigrant. I'm actually from Haiti. So I've been here for roughly 27 years. So I am now a proud U.S. citizen as well. And this immigrant that we were talking about, I am one of them. I am one that contributes to the economy here in the U.S. since I've been here. I am now 37 years old, but I came here when I was 11. So I know the struggle, and we have proud immigrants that are working hard, and a lot of business, men and women that are immigrants. So I truly hope that you guys really look into this 287G to know how much it's really destroying families. It's tearing people apart. We all have a role to play. So I just ask that you really look into it and you play your roles. I have to deal with these families on a daily basis, to reach out to ICE. So currently I'm able to help as much as on a limited base, when it comes to like the court system with immigration, but these families don't have the money to waste. So, and we don't have the money as taxpayers to waste as well. So I would ask that you truly look into this and not just believe what you heard out there. So the political agenda is just not right. Okay, thank you.
My name is Paula DeRosa. I am from Wicomico County, and I am here to talk about the 287G. Just to remind you, the community is made of diverse neighbors sharing ideas. And I've heard this council on many times ask, how do we attract other people here? How will we be able to do that when they learn we have signed something saying, if you come here, we're taking you? Our law enforcement, not you guys. Exclusion is not welcoming. The 287G agreement has not received good reviews anywhere. So you will send an undeniable message if it is passed. Please say no to any 287 agreement. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm passing out a handout, and I have some extras for the folks in here as well. Patricia Melvin, Wycomico County, District 2 right now, and I think I will be in District 7 in the future. This handout contains information from primary sources, and I've noted them on the handout, specifically ice.gov and congress.gov. So, in the interest of saving time, please read some highlights, and you can go back to these websites and confirm that the information is there. But I'm going to go to page 2, the second bullet point, describing that ICE does cover the cost of training the deputized officers. But the important part is state and local governments shoulder the majority of costs associated with a 287G agreement. Some local enforcement agencies consider the program to be too costly and do not participate, do not renew their agreements, or have terminated them early. Local authorities are responsible. The categories that the local authority, the county, would be responsible for is roughly 2 groups. The training, which ICE does cover the cost of training. What that means is they have an instructor. So the county will pay for the travel to Brunswick, Georgia, the housing, the per diems during the training, and their salaries while they're gone from Wycomico County. So there's the training bucket, which is a one-time cost per person maybe. But then there's the ongoing cost, of which we shoulder 100% of the hours and overtime. Well, the idea is that the work with ICE would be overtime and that we would pay the overtime. So again, that training takes place at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center near Brunswick, Georgia. So based on congress.gov, a number of counties have terminated their agreements. They entered in these agreements and they terminated them. There's a list of them on page 3. Prince William County, Virginia ended a decade-long agreement due to the effect on the local budget, daily operating costs, and maintenance fees. Costs associated with the program were paid for with cuts to local police and fire departments. Prince William County Police Chief Barry Barnard criticized the 287 agreement, stating that he has seen no data that there is a direct cause of any measurable crime reduction in Prince William County. He also felt it damaged the department's ability to relate with the community, and the county, with Prince William County delegate said, we need to use our local dollars to fix our own problems. We have a crime problem in Wycomico County. It's higher than the state average and national average. I really don't want to see our police officers stretched so thin because the 289 program does not offer any money for hours or overtime. In addition, we pay administrative supplies, security equipment, don't know what that is, and ongoing expenses. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. John Fondi Philogen, and representing CATA, Farm Workers Support Committee, and I also represent all the immigrants here. We work with almost all the immigrants, but basically Haitians and Hispanic. So I'm here to support all my fellow brothers and sisters about the 287G. First, I want to say that at the beginning, everybody here heard that it was about criminals, immigrants, but it's a lie. We have a lot of examples. You know that most than I. So it's not about criminals. It's not about people who commit great felonies. They can stop you for stop light and then So, I mean, basically, what I mean is that the 287G, who want that the local police to collaborate with ICE, it's gonna be a huge mess here in Wycomico County. So I want the committee here and everybody who can support in any way that they can to help so that this cannot happen in Wycomico County. And I want to say that, as my brother already said it, we immigrants, we pay taxes, we help in a lot of things for the economy here in Wycomico County. And if you can notice, in Eachard Street, we have a beautiful clinic right there. And you know how Eachard Street was before. So with the immigrants coming here, so that help a lot. So you can see the difference. I want to say that us as immigrants, we help in a lot of field here, and either medical field, businesses, and in everything, in schools, all that. So I think that we're not just criminals. We are here to help, and we are here because something, as my friend said earlier, something put us outside of our countries. Like I've heard that they said my country, I'm from Haiti. They said Haiti is good right now, and they stopped TPS, the temporary protected status, but they put Haiti, they banned Haiti so that American citizens cannot travel over there. So I want you to understand all those, and I'm against 287G. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. All right. Good evening, council members. My name is Lana Foley. I'm a Wicomico resident and taxpayer. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. In reference to the WBOC article that was posted on their website July 25th, 2025, regarding a potential agreement between the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE, and Wicomico County, I am looking to clear up any community misconceptions that Eastern Shore Undercover has recently alleged in their blog post. With that said, I would like to ask 6 short yes or no questions. Is that permissible?
Couldn't answer them, but you can continue. Thank you.
Okay. I find that these are important to ask because in this article, it is saying that Lewis said he has filed paperwork with ICE and spoken with the agency over the phone and via email, but any deal is weeks. Again, this was posted July 25th, possibly even months away from being completed. So my questions are, Sheriff Lewis contacted the United States Immigration and Enforcement regarding entering into a potential partnership. That was a yes or no question. Has a deal been struck for Wicomico County to participate in 287G or any other programs with ICE? Again, yes or no question. Has Sheriff Lewis explored the idea for the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office to assist ICE once someone is arrested on local charges? Yes or no answer. Is it your understanding that the 287G jail model would allow agencies, in this case, the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office, to work with ICE in those efforts? Is it your understanding that any agreement with ICE would require a memorandum of understanding between the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office, the Wicomico County Jail, and either the Wicomico County Council or the Wicomico County Executive? Is it your understanding that County Council or County Executive Giordano offered her support and indicated she would follow the lead of Sheriff Lewis? Also, that County Council President John Cannon also indicated he was on board and would follow Sheriff Lewis. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks, Sol. Ms. Foley, under public comments, it's usually just comments. There's not a debate. There's not an engagement in the process. I'm not really crazy about it, but that's how it is. But if you would give us your information, if you give it to Ms. Hurley when you leave, and we'll make sure that all the questions are answered, not by the council, but probably by Sheriff Lewis as well. Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Good evening, Jim Atkins, Wacomico County. Just want to run through a hodgepodge of things tonight that have been going on. I want to talk about commissions and committees as we talk about the water and sewer. All I'll say concerning that and committees and working with the county executive is look at the Environmental Trust Committee in this county and their recommendations to the executive. And their recommendations are not followed. So why do we think that sanitary commission recommendations would be followed? Secondly, ethics commission, having a hard time finding a lawyer who wants to get in the middle of these subjects. I realize legislation was just recently passed concerning this and getting an outside attorney, but maybe we need to revisit it and possibly work with the surrounding counties to have surrounding counties hear our ethics complaints for this county and let them make a decision, because I filed an ethics complaint. We're approaching 3 months, but we don't have an attorney. So how many more times is this ethics violation going to continue until we get an attorney? Liquor legislation. Not going to get into it other than, and I have fussed at the council previously about this, about open work sessions. The community either has to come up here prior to the open work session and comment about something that they believe or think, but they don't know what's going to be addressed. Or 2 weeks from now, they come to a public comment and make a comment about something that was discussed 2 weeks ago and more than likely has already been decided. So we need something to happen with these work sessions where the community can be involved in these work sessions. We don't need more liquor stores. We don't need to take them away from the restaurants. We don't need to be allowing golf courses to sell liquor at 7 a.m. in the morning. It's just not necessary. We've gotten this far and this long without doing this, so why get into it now? And there's a lot of comments about 287G. It's a very costly program for the county if the county decides to get into it. But all I can tell you is based off the ICE website this morning, contrary to comments, the sheriff has not applied for this program according to the United States government. There's been no application received from Wacomico County. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Allison Grice. I live in Wacomico County. I would like to speak on 287G as well. I implore the council to reject any 287G agreement. And I first want to thank everyone who has spoken on this tonight. It's an incredibly important issue. It's said that the program enhances public safety and aims to increase community security. I say safety and security for whom? I personally will not feel safer if my local law enforcement is beholden to another agency, like ICE. The immigrant community, including those who are here legally, will not feel safer for fear of being racially profiled by mass, potentially untrained ICE agents. And they certainly won't feel safer reporting a crime to their local police department. The 287G program supposedly encourages collaboration between federal, state, and local agencies, which translates to me as all territories are by default mandated to act in accordance with federal orders from above. The federal government should not be involved in micromanaging how local law enforcement allocates their time, money, especially, and resources. This program also diverts local law enforcement from their primary duties, which could easily lead to errors and abuse in identifying immigrants and general neglect of the community abroad. In short, will I feel safer if 287G is passed? No, I will not. Will the community be safer? No. Thank you for your time.
Any other public comment?
My name is Julia Bellamy. I live in Wycomico County. The two concerns I have about 287G are that Wycomico County would lose control over, or would be giving control to the federal government in two cases specifically. One is that when I saw that the Wycomico County could not talk to the media without having two different approvals within ICE. So we could not release any media information without having approval from two different departments in ICE. And the other was that any complaints as to what was going on in, I guess, Wycomico County's jail would be handled exclusively by ICE and by the federal government, and that concerned me. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight.
Good evening. My name's Debbie Krause. I'm from Bivalve in Wycomico County. And I just want to say it was a great first day at school for my kids. And that, you know, and I was a first grade teacher for 34 years at Chipman over on Lake Street. My heart's there. I want to say also at Westside, we're getting ready to have maybe a state park down there. I know there was a lot of controversy from the first meeting, but I want you to know that when you come down again in September, there's going to be a big powwow again for the state park, that there'll be a lot of positive feedback because there were other community members that are very much for the state park. So that was another thing. The 287G, I have cried every night about what's going on with ICE. It's not right. It's horrible seeing children bused to other countries. It's horrible. And it's not a nice arrest either. It's a group of men tackling people, dragging children away from their parents in front of them. It's not right. We don't want that here. We are a loving community, and we do not need to see that stuff here. The work needs to be done at the immigration courts, allowing people that have been here for 30 years to be here. I know that's not your counsel, but I just wanted to say that. So thank you for your time.
I know what I'm doing, man.